Hey folks, welcome. Here we discuss real stories by real people. Today we have the story of a man who finds out his girlfriend has been cheating on him with a married pastor. Let's see how it goes. Story 1. My girlfriend and I have been together for about 2 years now. We started dating in college and moved in together not long after we graduated. My parents had decided to spend their retirement in Florida, so their house was now my house. Everything was going great for the first little bit. We were both able to find decent paying jobs in our fields, and we had a good time rearranging and decorating to make the house our style. The only real downside was her family. Her parents are super religious. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but their entire lives literally revolved around their church. Sometimes I think they were there more than they were at home or at work. Needless to say, they most definitely would not approve of us living together in sin, as they would call it. It wasn't too tricky to keep it a secret though. Although they lived in the same town we did, they thought that she was sharing an apartment with a couple of roommates. This put them off from wanting to see her place, so we would just go over to theirs instead. They were nice enough, I guess. I got along with them fine. Just put on my best manners and threw in a bunch of sirs when I talked to her dad and went on about her mom's bland casseroles. Thanks to the highly filtered version of myself that they see, they like me pretty well too. Every Sunday morning, they insist my girlfriend go to church with them. I was able to get out of it most of the time. Just told them I had some work to catch up on. They let that slide as long as I went every once in a while. However, if my girlfriend didn't attend regularly, they would be all over her. Although she didn't particularly want to do it and whine about it constantly, it was still easier for her to just suck it up and go and not have to deal with the drama. But right around Christmas, she suddenly stopped complaining about going like she used to. She even volunteered to help with the kids' Christmas pageant. I asked her about the change of attitude, and she brushed it off as simply being in the Christmas spirit, but things felt off between us. It all made sense when I dropped by the church the night before the pageant. She had called and told me not to wait for her, said there was some sort of costume emergency and that she expected to be there late. Me, in an attempt to be a good boyfriend, decided to grab takeout from her favorite Chinese restaurant and drop it off to her at the church. The main door to the lobby had been left unlocked, so I headed straight in, trying to be quiet so I could surprise her. When I rounded the corner from the lobby, I heard a low moan coming from the office. The door was partially open, so I quietly edged forward to peek in. And what should I see but my girlfriend getting it on with the married youth pastor? I slipped back out to my car without getting caught and headed home. I'm not sure yet what I'm gonna do, but I want to make sure everyone finds out about this. Well, I came up with the perfect plan. I bowed out of going to the pageant the next day, blaming a work emergency. I knew she wouldn't care enough to question me on it, and she didn't. And he had printed out flowers with a picture of the two of them I had found from the church picnic last fall. Underneath, it said, "Good luck to the happy couple." We waited until the pageant and then stuck the flyers to the church doors and on all the cars in the parking lot. From what I heard, the pastor's wife went ballistic when she discovered the flyers. Turns out the wife had had a whiff that her husband was up to something, but she didn't know with whom it was. And my flyers confirmed everything to her. I heard she chased the pastor from the church and didn't even let him justify himself. As for my ex, she called me sobbing and asked me to pick her up from the pageant because her parents were trying to shred her over a ridiculous smear post, to which I replied with what I saw the other day. She hung up soon after. I heard she's been completely ostracized from the church, her family refuses to even speak to her, and a lot of her friends that were involved with the church have stopped associating with her as well. Now she's crashing at a friend's couch for the time being. She tried to apologize, but I'm not having it. One thing that bothers me though is that maybe I should have quietly walked away instead of ruining her life. It's making me feel bad, but for the most part, I'm indifferent. I'm sorry this happened to you, OP. Sometimes revenge doesn't feel as satisfying as we think it would feel. You could have skipped that part, but I understand why you wanted to expose her to everyone. Your ex-girlfriend was wrong for cheating on you, and the fact that her AP was married only made it worse. For someone with super religious parents, she picked the worst person to cheat on you with. You deserve someone who wouldn't cheat on you, and the pastor's wife deserves someone who would respect and honor their vows. Take care, OP. I hope your next relationship is a much better one. Story 2. So, I think it's been 5 weeks since I ended things. Long story short, I tried for reconciliation for 2 years. My trust never actually returned, and looking back, I think it was actively getting worse as I was becoming obsessive about tracking her and verifying and always on high alert, waiting for the next infidelity. Living like that was destroying me, so I broke up with her and asked her to move out 5 weeks ago. Since that time, I've been sad and a bit depressed in general, but also feel better than I did before because for the first time in 2 years, I'm free of that soul-crushing anxiety, fear, and distrust. And that has become a problem because all I think about now when I think of her is how much I love her, and how much I miss her, and how much I enjoyed and loved the life we had. I'm looking at her through rose-colored glasses, I guess. She's still the woman who went on dates with 2 different guys. She's still the woman who meticulously made plans with a guy over the course of 2 days to meet him at his hotel room and then went there and effed him and didn't even use a condom. At that point in our young relationship, we had never not used a condom. Guess I wasn't worth it at the time. I'm starting to realize I was a provider type that she wanted to settle down with. But she just couldn't quite stop acting wild. She was ready to get married, have kids. At least in her mind, but not in her heart. She wasn't in love with me when those things happened. She thought I was hot, enjoyed being with me, but she needed more excitement. At least that's what she told her best friend in the text messages I read. What she didn't expect was to fall head over heels in love with me, I think. The more she got to know me, the more she realized I was even more of a catch than she thought. That I was the total package. Very hot, super tall, funny, financially stable with a great, interesting career, with interesting hobbies, caring, manly as F and not boring, but also with a sensitive and romantic side, and a dedicated father. But by the time she learned what she had long since ruined it. Our relationship had an expiration date, and the clock was ticking. Over the last 2 years, she fought as hard as she could to hold on to me, but the damage was done. Every day, my love for her was dying a little bit more. Every day, I lived in fear of another incident. I kind of started hating some part of her. I began dreaming of ending it. I started making lists of pros and cons for the relationship. The cons always won out. The stress I was under due to her was eating me alive, while I got to watch her live a wonderful, meaningful, happy life that I was mostly responsible for building, and I felt resentment that she didn't have to relive the horrible things that she had done to me over and over and over and over again like I did. Breaking up has caused her immense distress, and she seems lost, and some horrible part of me likes that. Every time she cries about how I'm tearing her life apart, I feel kind of good inside, and that makes me feel like a monster. I always try to be kind when talking to her, but I kind of want to scream at her that if she hadn't had some other guy's dick inside her, then she wouldn't have my ring on her finger. Despite all that, some days it's all I can do not to reach out to her and beg her to come back. But I haven't. And after Sunday, it will be impossible to make that even happen, which is good. The movers are coming for her things, and she'll come get her nasty goddamn cats that puke everywhere and wipe their asses on my floors and belongings instead of licking themselves clean. I'm an animal lover, but shit. Sometimes I want to call her and tell her to come get these freaking things before I open the front door and leave it open. She took the dog that I loved, of course, to stay with her aunt and uncle. I told her I would have kept the dog until she moved into her new place, but she said, "No, I'm angry with you." I keep thinking about how I've bent over backwards to help her this month and make this as easy as possible. Keeping her animals, packing all her things for her, rearranging the long-made plans for my parents coming to visit so we could hit her move in the window at her new place. I even bought her a small but meaningful housewarming gift. I'm an effing sap, I guess, but despite everything, I do still love her, and it's hard to turn that off. I decided last night while I was lifting that my new girlfriend is the gym. She's who I'm dedicated to now. She is who I'll spend my time with, and it feels good. She'll only cheat on me if I cheat on myself. She's the kind of relationship I want. The gym gives back as much as you put in. I'm looking forward to Sunday. Sunday, I can take the first steps forward in correcting the mistake I made when I allowed her into my life. Sunday, I begin my life. You have done your best, OP. 2 years isn't a short time, and now that you're certain that there's no way to save the relationship, you won't have any regrets. The feelings you still have for her are quite normal. They'll probably fade with time, though. She cheated and threw away the relationship before you ever did. Now, she's going to get her stuff. That would be the end of your relationship with her and an opening of a new one with yourself. Going to the gym is a great idea. You could pick up other hobbies too, and with time, you'll miss the relationship less. And when you're ready to enter into the dating world again, I hope you meet someone who will love you just as much as you love her and be loyal to you. Now for some comments. Best of luck. I hear that the addiction ends around 3 months of no contact, so probably counting from move-out date, and that you start feeling like your new self around 6 months. Well done. I really hope I can find a way to achieve courage and conviction like this eventually. Best of luck. Power to you, OP, for being true yourself. Glad you were strong enough to try and reconcile. At least you know you can live the rest of your life saying you tried to save it. I too am trying to get past my wife's affair, as D-Day for me was just 2 months ago. I fear in the long run I will feel the exact feelings you had. Not trusting her and living with anxiety about it happening again, etc. I just hope if or when it does come to that, I have enough in me to let her go. I can truly relate to everything you've posted here. Congratulations on making the right choice. You'll be a stronger and better person for it. The trust you had before Discovery Day would never have returned to the pre-affair state if you had stayed with her the rest of your life. This could have changed her for the better. She sounds very immature. But given your description of events, that sounds unlikely. This is who she is. Good idea with the gym. Recommend no contact. You'll heal quicker. Eventually, you'll find someone who will give you mutual love, respect, and fidelity. I'm a dog person too. Get one for yourself.